Now the difficult ones are these ones that have to be skewed or distorted or warped to handle the perspective. And what I like to do is I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to paste my pattern in there. Now again, be aware this gets a little complicated, but this is the right scale for what we need. And what I tend to do is put it up above my masking layout, and I put it on multiply just to see through. And then what I also do is this is my scaled layout, so maybe I could even put this scaled pattern. And I'm just going to work on these inside sections, the kind of pink areas. I'll put that up here so you can see. So I'm going to go to these and these at once, and I'm only going to do them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I'm just going to do them one at a time. I'm going to go back onto my scaled layer, and I'm just going to select just a small section of the pattern. I don't need this whole thing, and I don't want to have to deal with distorting the entire thing. So I'm going to actually select that and paste it into a new layout, into a new layer rather, so that I have just a little bit. I'm going to stick it on top, and I'm going to put it on a blend mode so I can see through. And I'm going to go to Control T to get into the transform mode. And then I'm going to go up to Edit to transform. And you can pick which things you like to use. I think with this one, because I think skew is going to be the one that I like to use for this one. And the way this works is that you just work the handles. You want to be careful. You want to think about the shape of this. So for instance, this shape of this inside arm, sofa arm, is kind of a parallelogram. So you want to go kind of slowly and kind of just get the feel of it. And you don't want it to look too distorted. So it's something kind of like this. I'm just pushing one, I'm skewing one anchor point after another, one handle. And once I've got that, I'm going to let it go. So in other words, I'm going to commit to that transformation. We haven't done anything but skew the pattern. I'm going to call this the skewed pattern, just so I know what's going on. And now if I just select it, so again, you can click on the thumbnail as you click on the command key that selects it. So go to Command C. You can now take the eyeball off. You want to go to your masking layout. You want to go to your wand tool, but instead of it being contiguous, you want to click it on contiguous, so you're just getting one pattern at a time. And now you're going to go to Paste Special, Paste in 2, and as you can see, it's a pretty small amount. What I like about this is you can now move it around so that you can kind of see what it might look like. In fact, you could actually probably scale it down a tiny bit to make it look even more more natural. And this you can always edit and change later, but that's the basic idea. So now there's that one. Now I'm going to go to my skewed pattern. I'm going to duplicate that layer. And I'm going to duplicate that because I'm going to then flip it around and go to the other direction. So I'm going to go to Command or Control J to duplicate the layer. So I can turn this one off. This is the copy. It's a duplicate. I'm going to go to Edit, Transform, Flip horizontally. And there we go. It's going in the other direction, which hopefully, if this is photographed pretty normally, it's about the same. And we can kind of see what we grabbed. So now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold down the Command or Control key as I click on the thumbnail on the layer. I'm going to copy that. I'm going to turn the eyeball off, go back to my masking layout, click on the pink panel, go to Edit, Paste Special, Paste Into, and there we go. And again, then you want to be in the move tool, and you can just move your pattern around. And again, you can move this later, because what's happened is it's created an automatic mask that's containing our pattern into the shape. So for right now, I think that's fine. And maybe call this, since you're not going to know what it is, let's see, this is arm inside, side, whoops, left, arm inside right. Just so you know what's going on. It's hard to know sometimes as you get more and more of these things going on. Okay, so I'm going to turn those off so I don't get confused. Now let's deal with these cushions here. And so we've got the two purple ones and a red one. And let's go back to our scaled pattern. And we're going to go back to this one. I'm going to kind of put it up above so that we can see it. Again, I'm going to just grab a section bigger than my cushion, but not as big as the whole thing. So I'm going to say Command C. I'm going to turn that off, move that back down again, make a new layer, Command V, and that I'm going to call my cushion skew. Now the cushion is a little bit different. I'm going to put it on multiply, and if you think about that shape, it could be a skew or it could be a perspective distortion or transformation. Let's try what this one is. So Command T, and then let's go to Edit, Transform. I'm going to try skew again because it's a little bit easier to work with, I think. And this one is, it's got really very little happening except that it's very foreshortened. So if you think about the shape of the pillow, whoa, it's kind of doing that. You don't want it to look too crazy, but it should actually really foreshorten. So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm kind of following a little bit, if I could get this to go smaller. I'm following the side area, and I'm going to then, I'm going to say okay to that, or else maybe what I might do is actually go back to transform and go to distort, and that will allow me to pull some of these anchors in a little bit so it gets even more foreshortened. And I like to just follow what's actually happening on the file. So I'm trying to actually create something that makes sense in terms of what the cushion actually is doing. So if you can see this line here, I'm trying to kind of follow as much as I can the horizontal line of the cushions of the sofa structure, and I'm kind of following slightly, not perfectly, the cushion top shape. So I like that. I think that might work. I'm going to hit return. If I take my masking layout out, I think it's going to give me the right idea. So I am going to, again, I'm going to select just this skewed part of the pattern by holding the Command key down as I click on the thumbnail. I'm going to copy it. I'm turning off the eyeball. I'm deselecting it. Now I'm going back into my masking layout, my color layout. I'm going to the wand tool by going to W. I have contiguous selected on, so I'm just going to do one cushion at a time. Whoops. And the reason that happened was I'm not on the right layer. So Control D, make sure you're on that masking layout layer. Now you're going to want to go paste into, and there you go. So I think that probably looks pretty good, and we can always move it around and change it later. Because I know I want to do this again, I'm going to go back over here to my cushion skew, and I'm going to copy it, Command J, and I'm going to copy it, edit, transform, flip horizontal, and you can imagine this I'm going to use for the other pillow, which, as you can see what I was doing there? If you look at the marching ants, I was trying to follow kind of the actual shape of the cushion. And so it's something like that. I've got that selected now. I can turn it off, Command D, go back to that masking layout, go back to the wand tool, click on the purple cushion, edit, paste special, paste in two, and there we go. It looks pretty good. Now we have to do the same thing for the right one, meaning not the right one, the red one. And what I'm thinking is we could maybe just try this by not making another layer, not making it so complicated that, no, actually we should. So let's go to, we're going to have to go back to our patterned one. And we're just going to make a selection. You want to make it bigger always than your selection, because when you distort, you actually lose, it reduces things. So I'm on my scaled pattern. I'm going to say copy, Command C, and I'm going to turn that off, Command D. Now you can imagine I'm just going to click on our red cushion with the wand tool, and I'm just going to see what happens if I just kind of move it right in there. Paste into. Now, you can always do it this way, where you can go in with the transform tool and you can use your tools right when the pattern's already in there. And some people like to do that a lot more. To me, I like to do it all the same way. I'm just showing you the different kind of ways of doing it. In the perspective transform tool, it's a lot, it only goes kind of in one direction. It's either bigger, smaller. It's really great, but it sometimes doesn't scale things exactly the way I like to do it. So, what are we thinking now? Does it seem about right? We're eyeballing these, so it's really interesting. You just have to kind of see what it looks like. So this is looking much larger, the pattern. If I said OK and then went to Command T again, and I simply tried to scale it at this point, oops, you want to make sure you have enough image there. That maybe is, you want to really use your eyes to do this. So that, in my mind, is looking pretty accurate. You can even, you can use your transform tools however you wish. And that's basically the idea of that. What have we not done so far? So let's turn everything on. So I'm going to turn all the layers on, except for these ones that we don't need. What was this? This was top cushion. This is why you have to name things. Top cushion. Anything with the mask is obviously a cushion. Let's do this better. What is this one? This is top cushion. And this one must be our center cushion. All right, and then we have this one. Oh, this was just our actual patterns. We can make these go underneath. And then we don't need these either. So what you want to do is get everything that doesn't have a mask on it out of the way. These are the side arms, front, and and then we turn this off. And where are our top cushions? Oh, here. And there we go. We have almost everything done.